So, you want to play Sub-Zero. I got you. He is one of the mixed kings in this game. He's going to have a lot of overhead and lows for your opponent to be thinking about. And basically, his goal is to freeze you or mix you until he freezes you. And then when he freezes you, he's going to hit you. That's essentially kind of how his game plan kind of goes. We'll get into his special moves and like his strings as to why that might be. So first we're going to go with Ice Ball. So Ice Ball is a, as it has worked in other games, the full screen freeze, and you can get things off of it from, wherever on the screen. The issue with Ice Ball in this game is the fact that it's very slow. It's 39 frames of startup. Most projectiles come out in around 20. And so in a zoning war, he's always going to lose. And meter burning, it doesn't help him at all. It does make him eat other projectiles. So if Lucan throws a fireball, I can kind of destroy the fireball. So that's what's beneficial about it. But other than that, like, as far as this being your main tool to freeze people, it's just not as good as it was in the other games. So I don't personally recommend using this all that much. You can use it, occasionally. And obviously this is a mid, so you are going to catch people with this that are just ducking. But the issue is 39 frames, and like 39 frames on full screen, they could see you pop the meter burn, and it's just, I don't find it to be all that good. Then we got Ice Clone. So Ice Clone, he makes, as he says, an Ice Clone. And this is pretty good because it can keep you safe in a lot of areas because he backs away. You can use this in the air also. So if someone's trying to kind of anti-air you, you can really bait them out with this. It covers, because of this, if someone's jumping in at you, instead of anti-airing them, you just pop the freeze, and then now they're frozen, and now you can get a combo off of it. This is one of his better ways of freezing people. It's pretty consistent. There are certain combos that you could do with certain characters, where, by doing some of his other special moves, you can kind of bait that into one of these. So you can do something like this, right, where you get the overhead, and then you freeze them, and then do it again, and then, you can keep going from there. So it's a pretty good tool to catch people that are lacking or that just don't know. Another cool thing about it is that it actually does stop projectiles. So it can stop projectiles like that. Also works in the air, If you meter burn it, it actually hits 3 of them. And the other clones do stay in effect. And if your opponent is caught by this, their combo, it does a good amount of damage. So this is actually one of his better moves, I would say. He is vulnerable to teleports, I will say. He's got a 43 frames of recovery, so if your opponent knows that you're going to do this, you will get punished. But if they don't have a teleport, it's kind of hard to deal with this. You can use this in the corner as well. Like, for example, you knock them down, you pop an Ice Clone, and then now they kind of have to deal with this. It doesn't last for very long. That's one thing to know about it. But the point is that you're using it for them to stick out a button and then freeze them. That's the whole point of this move. You have Ice Clone Charge. Ice Clone Charge is a mid-hitting projectile, and it knocks them back full screen. Not that I would really want him full screen, but, it does do that. Important to note, it only covers around half the screen. But if you meter burn it, it eats projectiles. So the same property that the Ice Ball had, it goes through them. So it's pretty effective. It still has the same range. So just be wary of that. You got Ice Slide. So Ice Slide is going to be his combo ender. You're going to be using for basically everything. It's a full screen slide. It is full screen, yet some people don't think that it will hit them by them backdashing. It's still going to hit them. It is unsafe on block. This is just the nature of the beast. Meter burning, it does not make it safe. It is a very powerful move, right? Because it low profiles projectiles, and it's very quick. If you meter burn it, it does side switch, and it pops the opponent up for a combo. Depending on which cameo you have, you can get combos off of it. Currently with Frost, I can't do that, but there's certain characters that you can. But we could do something like this, right? And now they're frozen, and then you can do your thing. So that's always good. The meter burn version does do more damage, and also it has armor. So this is going to be your reversal. You get knocked down, you're going to use this. And it's really quick. Like 14 frame startup on armored move. It's incredibly fast. You could use this literally in neutral. Like a lot of people that play Sub-Zero, they kind of stand around in a even this range. You get just outside of it, you know, it's very hard for your opponent to react to a low this fast. And there's certain cameos that you could pop to make this move actually safe. So you have his dive kick, which is air diving glacier. So this is especially useful in combos. So if you do things like this, it still pops them up and you can kind of get things like that. If you meter burn it, it gets a pop up by itself. So you don't need to do the kind of extra stuff. They both do the same damage, and they're both unsafe. The meter burn slide is actually more unsafe than the regular one. So yeah, you can make this a -3 move if you space it correctly. But just know that if you do it in their face, you are going to be -13. If you are in their face, though, and you do it, you're going to get clipped. So just be careful with that. And then his last special move is going to be Deadly Vapors. So this one, it's not a full freeze, but what it does do is slow your opponent. If you meter burn it, they slow down a little bit more, and you get a little bit extra damage. But, you know, what this means, you could do things like this, right? And kind of keep going like that. The meter burn version is very good because even on grounded opponents, you could do things like this. And keep looping this, and this is a true combo. You know, you can just do this. Obviously, there's a lot of damage scaling involved, but the point is that you can do it. And this is going to be, if you want to keep your opponent on the ground, this is going to be the way to go. You're going to be doing this and kind of like almost like kind of freezing them, like just slowing them down just enough where they can't do anything about it. So we'll take a look at his anti-airs. So he's got a couple of decent ones. He's got this 11 frame uppercut. I don't believe this is a very good uppercut for two reasons. One, it's 11 frames, so it's one of the slower ones in the game. And then two, the angle is kind of weird. Like, yeah, he pokes out, you know, a very, very nice little spot, but if your opponent's over you, like, you're gonna get hit. This is not, I don't consider this anti-air to be very good, but just it's an option. Another one would be back 2. So back 2, it is 24 frames to start up, but the cool thing about it is, right, it's an instant combo. You hit it in the right spot, you get a combo, you know. So it's decent. You just got to be preemptive with it, you know. And then one of his more effective ones is a 10 frame. Is going to be a standing 3. And this one you can, you know, use a cameo to kind of like continue the combo if you want to when they're in the air. But overall, I don't think his anti-airs are very great. But that's fine because he's got a lot of different things that make him good. His anti-airs are not the best. Let's take a look at his pokes. So first we got forward 1. So forward 1 is an advancing mid. It, again, like most other mids in the game, it doesn't reach very far, but it's enough where, you know, it's -4, and it's enough for you to check your opponent. So I would definitely use this move a lot. Then we got down 1. So the important thing about this down 1, it is -9. Most down 1s in this game are -8, but this one has a little bit more range than everybody else's, which is really nice. You see, he kind of like pulls out a little ice spike, and it's got quite a decent amount of range. And -9 at this range is pretty good. So this is a very strong tool to use, but I wouldn't use it like other down 1s because you're just more negative than your opponent would be. He can hit you with like just a 9 frame whatever, like a 9 frame high or something like that, and you're basically screwed. So just be wary of that. And he's got back 3. So back 3 is this low little sweep kick. This is going to be nice for certain people to do combos with. And it leads to back 3-4, which is also safe. The important thing is that it's a low, and you can kind of just throw it out there, and your opponent's not really gonna. You got to be a little bit unpredictable with Sub-Zero, you know. But that's something that it also moves him forward a little bit, so very decent move, you know. Depending on the character, you can get things like, you know, something like Frost will get a freeze after that. So you can convert things off of this. Just do special moves. So You know, hit confirming this is hard, but it is possible, and you can get stuff off of it. And then finally, you got back four. Back four is a god tier normal. I love this normal. It is the only downside I would say to it is that Sub-Zero does not crouch when he does this. And just uses this spine to hit you. And it pushes you back quite a good distance, you know? And you're -7, so completely safe. Very good move, but like I said, does not low profile. So for me, sometimes when I play a character, if a person's gonna if a person's jumping in, what I like to do is actually just do a down 4 because I sweep them instantly, and then it lets me do whatever I want to do if I miss the anti-air. But Sub-Zero, you can't do that, so just be careful. You could do things like this, like it's down 4, but they're not sweeps, so just be wary of that. As far as the strong buttons go, we got forward 1. So we talked about this already. It is -4, so good, good button to throw out in neutral, and then also you can hit confirm things off of it. You got back 2, so be careful with back 2. This is his most damaging combo starter. It's his overhead starter, but if you do this in their face, it's -23. This is death on block, so you have to be very smart with how you use this. But again, it's very satisfying. If you land this thing, you do things like bop, 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 and, you know, kind of finish that. Pretty strong normal. And then back 3, we talked about you can kind of convert things off of. So those would be some strong buttons that I would recommend. As far as strings go, I would first use 1, 2, 2. It's going to be his fastest string, right? And because it ends in an overhead, you have like a little bit of a mix here where you can do this, or you can do... So, you know, you can mix your opponents that way. So, pretty decent. And then it's safe. So, you can just throw this out. I would be careful with flawless blocking, though. It seems to me that if your opponent does flawless block this, you're basically... I mean, you're going to be minus. So, just be careful with that. There's a little bit of a gap between the second and third hit. You got forward 1, 2, 3. So depending on the cameo, you can combo off of this. But mainly, you could just throw out forward 1, 2. You're -7, you're safe. You know, so you do this, and then kind of frost cameo. This is his only string where he is minus if he does do the entire thing. So just be like a little conscious of that. Then you got back 3, 4. So again, depending on cameo, you can combo off of this. Probably should have picked a different one, honestly. Frost is not the one to do all this stuff with, but she's got other things that make her good. But yeah, this is also safe. You know, it's -5, and you're right in their face, so you're just ready to start mixing again. So throw this out, use it, use and abuse. One more that I would say is that as far as combo conversions go, you could use either forward 1, 2, or you can use 2, 1. They're both gonna do the same damage. It's just a positioning thing, really. I find for me, it is more consistent using 2, 1. That is just a me thing, but maybe others might tell you different. And then in the air, he's got 1, 2. This is gonna be the one everybody uses. He just hits you back on the ground, and then you can loop this thing. It's honestly incredible. You have another launcher. Yeah, you can kind of just keep doing this. So, it's a lot of fun when you do it, honestly. And the other one, he kind of knocks you back forward, but now you can combo off the ground. As if you couldn't the other one, but, you know. Both are very strong, very good. One of the things that I will say is that as far as weaknesses goes, he doesn't have a lot of range on his normals, at least not in the initial hit, right? So he has to kind of continue to doing the string, and he's gonna cover a lot of ground. When it comes to his second and third hit, he does have a lot more like flexibility. So you kind of do have to stay at a certain range. So characters like General Shao or Rain, for example, are definitely going to be, or Tanya, they're definitely going to be able to outrange you. So you have to be, you know, using your strings a little bit preemptively and knowing which ones kind of advance you forwards or something like this. could be very good against someone like that, or using your forward 1-2. The initial strike just doesn't cover a lot of space, so you have to be a little bit conscious that you might get clipped. This is something that I found personally, and I've been playing the character for a little bit. I've been playing people online. I haven't been able to find a lot of damage on him. When we look at a character like Sub-Zero, you know, something like this, which is like a combo starter. Yeah, it's a pretty basic, but it's 28. You know, it's 28%. Most characters of a basic B&B without any meter are doing like 310. And you might not think that's a lot, but over time that stacks up, and Sub-Zero is going to have to touch you more times than someone like Scorpion or someone like Smoke is going to have to in order to kill you. And that, I think, is one of his bigger weaknesses. He just has a lot of damage scaling, I've noticed. And I think it's specific on certain moves. Like, I definitely noticed that this by itself already doesn't have a lot of damage, the Ice Slide. But for whatever reason, as time goes on, it just gets, it depletes so much that it's not even, almost sometimes not even worth doing. And then he does have some safety issues if you're trying to get to big damage. So, and by big damage, I don't really mean big, but like, you know, kind of decent damage. So like this overhead, for example, you need some stuff off that. If you're gonna be doing the low slide, the armored one, you're gonna need some, you know, some coverage on that as well. So he is reliant on cameos for sure, but he's by no means a bad character. He's actually quite decent. Alright, so the first cameo I want to go over is Frost. Now, this is kind of self-explanatory. Sub-Zero, Frost, they both freeze things. That's basically the whole point of having her. She has a low freeze that hits full screen, and it gives you all the time in the world to kind of go ahead and do stuff with it. The cool thing is that you could use this in mix, so you could do things like this, and now you can, you know, safely throw out your overhead and do your combos like that. So this is always a presence that you have to kind of deal with. You know, you could even do this and kind of jump in and do stuff like that. So that's one of the things that is very good about her. The second thing would be the fact that she has, you know, this kind of stab move, which pushes the opponent pretty far. She then has this kind of like ice pillar thing she does. It is a mid, and it pushes the opponent pretty far, and you're +4. So on a string like this, and like, you know, you didn't hit the first one, you just pop the mid, and now they're a little bit further, and you don't have to really worry about it. It can also work decently well as an anti-air, depending on like the angle, and it just kind of hits them, you know, a little bit back. And it's got a relatively fast recharge rate, so that's always good. Finally, I would talk about this little pressure bomb thing she's got. So she can cancel this to scare the opponent, and then you can kind of do some stuff like throw them or whatever that might be. But the cool thing about it is that you can throw this out, and then like they're scared to move, and if you meter burn certain things, you know, you can get pretty nasty stuff with it. Like this, and now you got a combo. So yeah, definitely consider putting Frost on your team. I would not say she's the best one for him, but it definitely allows for more freezes, full screen, and just more opportunities for you to get a full combo. My second choice is going to be Sonya. So Sonya's main thing is going to be her combo extensions and then her projectile. So we'll just talk about the projectile real quick. It's, again, a really quick one. We have Sub-Zero doing his freeze, so, you know, in a zoning war, pretty good to just throw out there. But the star of the show is really this ambush assist, that she can get things off. So I can do something like this. Right, 308. So she definitely does help his damage a lot, and it can be used as an anti-air, but it also allows some strings to combo. So something like that wasn't possible before with someone like Frost, but now you can definitely do it. The only issue I would say is that she doesn't provide, you know, safety at all. Like even her kick, she's -20, or you're -27, so Just some cheeky little things like this. I would use her for combo extensions. That's basically what she's used for. She's pretty easy to do stuff with, and yeah, I definitely recommend her. So I personally think that Goro is the star of the show here. So there's a couple of reasons why. So Goro, one, he's gonna provide the safety that you're looking for. So if you time this right, now I'm 0, so I'm safe. And your opponent can't really do anything about it. So I can just throw these things out there, and I can continue my pressure. The one caveat on this is that that is a very strong tool, and so the recharge rate is really slow on this. So you have to be kind of conscious of when you do it. You can't just do it forever. But like Sonya, he can allow you to combo off of certain things. So again, he's a great combo extender. Again, very good at locking down your opponent. If they're zoning, you just hit them with that stuff. And then also you could do things like this. And now you're safe on your slide. So extremely useful. And then when it comes to blocking the low strings, if you continue to do low strings, your opponent's just going to stay blocking low, And so that's when you hit them with one of these grabs. And, you could use it as a combo extender, and just a lot of fun overall. And he's got his punch walk. Punch walk just basically going to take him full screen. Not really much to say about this, other than create some space, might do a little damage, but it's not really out of this world. But then he's got his unblockable, the Shokin Stomp, and that's gonna scare people. When you're mixing someone, they're gonna have to worry about when Goro pulls up. So, that's always fun. Then we're gonna talk a little bit about his ease of use. So as far as his movement goes, we had mentioned that a lot of his special moves actually do change his position. So you got the dive kick, you got the sweep, you got the ice clone. So being able to kind of move around the screen is going to be very important for Sub-Zero. But the issue is that most of them are unsafe. So you have to be very careful in how you use them. For strings, he's only got a handful. He doesn't have any dial-ins. And he's got a good mix of overheads and lows. And most of them are safe. Specials. So his specials are absolutely crucial to his game plan. He needs them. He's not just one of those characters that can just stand and bang and not do anything else. Because if he just stands and bangs, he's not, he's just not good. But using his specials and like being very tricky on how you move is going to be your key to success. Sub-Zero has some of the easiest execution in the game, honestly. Like this is potato. This is a potato combo. Look, 268. I don't even have to try. And if you just want to spam buttons, you just, it's similar to Scorpion. Sub-Zero and Scorpion are both designed in a way that's supposed to be kind of beginner friendly. So as far as ease of use, I'm going to go ahead and give Sub-Zero a 3.5 stars. So if you guys have found anything about Sub-Zero that you would like to share, or let me know how I did, go ahead and tell me in the comments, and drop a like, and subscribe. This has been Enter Sub-Zero.